All right, so we should be recording now, so hopefully everything's good. Welcome to the third developer call for Yoroi. So quickly going over the agenda, discussing issues under triage. So there's 3 of them under triage right now, right? So there's the lock screen, the refactoring, and then also this bands feature. Okay, so the lock screen, we gave some feedback, me and Nico. I think the result of our discussion was basically we were going to implement the lock feature also encrypting local data, right? So we decided not to just make the UI lock. Is that the final conclusion?
Yeah, so I think right now, to make this clear, like the log doesn't give you real security because it's just a fake log for people that don't know how to mix stuff. But this is not a real security issue in the way that you still need your passphrase to send transaction. This is just to hide the UI. But after discussing and after the some feedback, it seems like it's better to just go all the way and actually also encrypt like the information, from example, the transactions. So even if we did this work with the UI, with the passcode and everything, still we could consider this like getting closer to this end goal. The idea now is like to talk about some specific points about like how this process is going to work. But basically, the idea is that if we want to be focused in privacy, also probably what we want to do is something similar to Trezor, where we are not storing in our servers like an encrypted file because I don't know, it wouldn't give you that much trust. So the idea is that people can use their Google Drive, Dropbox, or some other like storage app to store an encrypted file that Yoroi will sync. And oh, sorry, I started thinking about something else. I've been away for 14 hours. Sorry. Yeah. Basically, sorry, I'm going to get back on track. So basically, the idea is that we have the passcode, and we are going to use that for encryption.
All right, so I think right now nobody will work on this issue, right? So we'll have to get back to it and figure out how to encrypt everything. But as far as I know, nobody will be scheduled to work on this for a little while at least, right?
I think maybe someone could start working on this in like 1 more week or so. But for now, I will tag this PR as a do not merge.
Yeah, all right. Let's put a do not merge and help wanted, I guess. Oh, I can't add labels apparently. That's unfortunate.
What? Really?
Oh, I'm just not logged in. Never mind. That would explain it.
Oh,
okay.
So basically, it's 2 PR. One is spec, one is actual implementation. So both we need to like wipe out if you do something.
I will update with the tag.
Somebody has to complete the spec to basically figure out how to encrypt the local DB and this kind of stuff.
Okay, there is one more, how to say, PR, which is the implementation. So we are going to wipe both, right? Also documentation, also the implementation.
Yeah, I put tags for help wanted and do not merge for the specs and also the PR with implementation.
All right, sounds good. All right, next one is the refactoring proposal. So I think for this one, the biggest thing was deciding whether or not to move to Redux instead of MobX. And so Sasha thinks there's benefits to it. mostly related to types, where, as we know, MobX is just really bad at handling types. I think this is a non-trivial change to do, and so, but Sasha seems really passionate about it, so I was thinking maybe it makes sense for Shin, when you have extra time, to also kind of do a deep dive on Redux and what we need to change, and if it makes sense, it's a real benefit to the amount of time we had to put into this.
Okay.
Be something you're able to do anytime soon, or are you just too busy?
Till Treasure release, I'm kind of like won't get time. I think so. Still few things remaining. So maybe after a week, I will be okay to do that.
Yeah, so I think this is not time sensitive, so I don't mind. Like we take our time to do this one. Tentatively, our release after the Treasure release will just be a refactoring release, including like all the upgrades of all our libraries. And this Redux change could fit into that, or it could be after. I don't really have a strong preference, but that seemed to be the biggest thing out of this, was just considering moving to Redux. So I'd prefer that we have somebody other than Sasha look into it. Like that way we have two people that both independently came to a conclusion whether or not we should move to it, and I think that's gives us a higher degree of confidence that making a move is the right decision. That's why I thought maybe it shouldn't be nice for you to look into it. That way you can coordinate with Sasha, and then either you both agree or you disagree, and then you have like a joint statement on the opinion of whether or not we should move to Redux.
Yeah.
Something interesting to take into consideration that the repository with React Native is using Redux. So we are already using like React for a similar project, because all the logic that we have in Yoroi for Chrome also pretty much is in Yoroi app. So maybe it's a good way to compare by looking at them. But also, I guess that it makes sense to stay with one stack, because it's going to make our life way easier. But also, maybe the change is not trivial if we decide to move to Redux. So also the idea is to know how non-trivial this is, like what parts are going to be tricky or not. So we can schedule like maybe like an upgrade if we decide to do it. When we have some time when we are not doing some like huge PR, or we are not thinking about implementing something super big like another Treasure, which could be failure or something like that.
So how about considering TypeScript? Like now we are using Flow. So how about considering TypeScript plus Redux? Is it make sense or?
I think it would be another. It makes sense to consider it, but also we need to see the implication, especially because for TypeScript we can't go halfway. We need to move everything to TypeScript, and also the idea is that we have like some sort of like consistency with the stack. So the idea is that also we will have to apply the same logic for like the Yoroi app. But I think TypeScript is better than Flow, but that doesn't mean that maybe it's like helpful for us in our specific situation. So also we will need someone to like take a look and see how much work it's going to be, etc.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll essentially say I think we should just not really spend much time on this until Q1 next year, just because we have a few features we'd like to get shipped before the end of the year, and we need people to develop those features. So I'd rather not spend the time looking into Redux now. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
All right. And then last one is this bands method. Unfortunately, as far as I know, nobody is in this call to motivate this feature. But so I can talk about it briefly. So basically, they want to reuse DNS to have a new record called bands, which adds the address, a NATA address to your DNS record. To make this safe, they want to basically use some experimental new features along with DNSSEC to make sure that clients and servers can basically prove that they didn't get hijacked or man-in-the-middle attacked. And then I wrote a post basically giving my thoughts on this. Basically, there's other people that have come up with similar ideas. So I want more detail on why we're making our own version instead of basically using other known standards. And then, yeah, the other thing I was thinking about this is that if we were to implement something like this, we would need basically to do an audit. Because I don't want us to implement some new way of doing address lookup and then we realize there's a bug and a bunch of people lose their money. And so we'd have to figure out how much it would cost. If we get this feature even developed by the community, we have to figure out how much it would cost to audit this. And then probably a few users would actually be able to use this feature just because these functionalities are so new that few actual users have browsers that support this, and then a few websites have servers that support this. So we would have low usage anyways, so it'd be like a large cost, low usage. So it's like something to take into account also. So that's kind of the thoughts I put out here. Obviously, I'm waiting for like a rebuttal or more discussion, but just so you guys know what's going on. And that's it for issues under triage. Appears that were merged this week. Was there anything that was merged? I think that, yeah, there's a few treasure stuff, some stuff by Wrestling. Yeah, I think it's just Wrestling and Shin merging stuff. Do you both want to talk about the work you've done this week?
Okay. This week I have like, how to say, after completing the base for Trezor, then yeah, we merged the signed transactions here plus few improvements like showing Trezor icon when Trezor wallet is created or loaded, and yeah, that's it. And also, yeah, disabling the password block for Trezor wallet. Like when we have Trezor wallet, then we don't need spending password. So I disabled it for Trezor wallet. And yeah, and the similar I will continue. I have to fix some few bugs. Yeah, and so this I will do that, and also the localizations for Trezor. Yeah, that's it from my side.
Okay, for me, can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. In merge PRs, I have created one major thing, is decoding the transaction that we get from Rust when we calculate the transaction in order to estimate fee. We were doing it a bit wrong by first creating a Rust transaction just to estimate the fee, and then trying to actually create a completely another transaction when going through Trezor. And as a result, the fee was getting wrong sometimes. We were getting another fee in result because of coin selection and stuff like that. So to make it like to simplify the whole thing, we now construct the whole transaction in Rust and then just decode this thing and use this data directly in Trezor. just sending the inputs and outputs directly. So we get exactly matching data and everything works nice. After this, it just was some little fixes, like some, changing the way we create the change output for Trezor by specifying the derivation path instead of exact address. Trezor has some specific features on how to process outputs when you specify like derivation address, because it means that it's internal address and it checks if it's a change or not and stuff like this. And then it was just a couple little fixes like refactoring, where we were calling database like too much times in the same function, and we could reduce it, stuff like this.
Hold on,
So
where
that's
is this? So you're saying you were calling the database too many times? Where was this? Oh yeah, okay, I remember. Okay, yes,
This refactoring internal methods. There were like stuff like call DB, extract one thing, then call another function, and this function also calls DB, the same exact query.
Yeah, okay. I remember the code now. Yeah, you're right.
Yep. So that's it for PRs from melting PRs at least.
All right. So one thing I want to also touch briefly on is, so we posted earlier that we're thinking of doing like an idea-thon, I guess, basically. So the core concept is right now we're writing specs as we need them. It may be more efficient to spend maybe 2 or 3 days and just focus on writing a bunch of proposals. And that way in the future, if we ever have spare time, we can just take a feature that's already somewhat well thought out. And then, yeah, it should make the process more efficient. And then also, hopefully, it'll make people happier, because then instead of being told to what feature to develop, they have a list of proposals they can pick from and then develop the feature they're most passionate about. So did anybody have any feedback on that idea? I know some people reacted with like, Slack emojis, but are people seem mostly supportive? Do we want to do it this week? Do we want to do it next week?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, Ruslan, please.
Wait. No. I mean, I think next week would be perfect.
This week or next week? Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Next week. Sorry.
Yeah, for me, the idea is like after we release the Trezor, then we have some time to think. So maybe we can make a like cyclic update when we have we finish the release. Then after that we think about new features or like that.
For the end of the year, the idea is that we have 2 extra features that we still need to finish, which is the integration with Firefox and the Excel exporting, besides like open sourcing the Yoroi mobile repo. And maybe we're a little tight with time. So if 2 days is going to make the difference between like reaching like the milestones or not, maybe we could push the ideas for like next year. It's going to be only 1 more week and a half. It's not like that far along.
So in big picture is that we have like 6-month update cycle, which is like everybody can see. And is it something which is like, how to say, more detailed version of that, right?
You mean for these ideathons?
Like both are related, right? What we are going to do and what are the new ideas. So from new idea has a pool, like anybody can introduce new ideas. Then we select those or discuss those and or vote those which one is going to be next. Then we add push to our upcoming feature pipeline, right? It's something, this is how I understood.
Yeah, I mean, that would be an ideal world pipeline. I'm not sure if we can actually create that pipeline in practice. I think in reality, we can do an ideathon to come up with proposals. In practice, I think a lot of proposals will be still written over time as we realize we need new things. Same way that they basically have been done now. We realize we need this thing, and so somebody creates a proposal for it, and then we talk about it, and then they implement it. So I mean, it's not like we'll do one ideathon and then no more writing proposals. Those will still come over time. It's just at some point it'd be maybe nice to just write down a bunch of ideas. That way, we can be more efficient during spare cycles. I am totally okay with doing the ideathon next year, because I think we already have a bunch of stuff we want to do this year, and that's fine for me. But I'm not sure if the ideathon is really targeted towards me because I know what's happening. But yeah, so I mean, I'm okay with this year. I'm okay with next year. I'm okay with either.
Okay.
So do we want to push it for next year then? It might be a cool way to kick off the new year also if we want to do like a thematic thing. You know, Yoroi finishes Q4, delivers on promises, come help us create the roadmap for next year or something like that.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right, let's do that then. So let's say, when do people usually come back in next year? I guess the first. So we could say, okay, no meeting on the 1st of January because that's obviously the new year, and people I'm assuming be busy and don't want to come join the hangout to talk about their great development of Yoroi. So we can say, what do we want to do? We don't want to have a meeting on the 25th either, though, right? So next Tuesday is the 25th, and that's the 1st. So next week, do we want to push it to like a Thursday or just cancel it 2 weeks in a row?
I think I will cancel it because right now we don't have that much to talk because I think everyone knows where we need to focus, and it's pretty much like the things that we need to reach for like our goals. And I think the next one maybe could be after the ideathon. So maybe in the next call we get to present some of the most promising ideas. Related to our schedule, I think like the Japan office is off from the 29th to the 3rd. So the 4th is like the first day that there is going to be classes. Like so that's a Friday. So probably maybe we could do it the 8th. Like we could do the ideathon 7, 8, and the 8 we can have like the call.
Yeah, sure. We can have 7th and 8th. There's not much time on the 8th because it'd be halfway through the 8th. But we can do that, or we can do 4th, 7th, and 8th. That's also fine with me. And you have the first day, then you have a weekend to think about it. Actually, don't really think about it. Enjoy your weekend, but also you can think about it, and then you come back in on Monday, crank out some more ideas. Then on 8th we discuss it. Would also
think-
be fine with me, but
I think today is already more than enough.
but it's because you wouldn't really have time on the 8th because we're having the meeting on the 8th, right? It's to still be the 7th in the States.
What day is for you guys today?
Yeah, today here it's Tuesday. It's the 18th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
So-
get confused because I already have 2 full days of work.
Yeah, so if we have it on the 8th in Japan, then we can just say we don't have to do this on 2 days. We can just say, okay, this is going to be our last meeting, and then we'll come back in the new year, starting the 9th in Japan, and then the 7th and 8th are the ideathon. So you have 7th and 8th to come up with ideas. 9th is the meeting, which will be on a Wednesday in Japan, and then that's it. Does that sound good with everybody?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Sounds okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do that.
All right, sounds good. And then we can talk with Flory maybe if we want to do like a marketing push to get the community involved also.
Yeah.
All right, then. I think that's basically it for this week's meeting. Is there anything else?
I wanted to, I did not prepare any document, but I wanted to talk about 2 topics, how is testnet progress is going on. So when we can use in Yoroi.
Yeah, I can talk about that. So we looked into it, specifically I looked into it, and it's a non-trivial amount of engineering efforts to allow Yoroi to connect to the testnet. So I think probably it's just not worth our time because the testing of our features on mainnet directly will cost us less than the engineering cost of trying to add testnet support, especially because we're moving to the Rust code base in the future, and so we would have to throw out the code regardless. If we really want to integrate into testnet in a kind of hacky way, waiting until the Rust code base, you could, create the transactions on Yoroi and then try and hack into the UI every time and broadcast your transactions manually through the Cardano CLI or to Hermes, but it seems like it would just not be a good experience, so I wouldn't even bother. So I would just say we just won't support the testnet on Yoroi until we migrate to the Rust code base, and that's unfortunate, but that's what it is.
Okay. Thank you. And next is sometimes we see signed transaction error. So is this how I want to understand that why it's occurring.
Yeah, I wanted to talk exactly about this now. So for the last couple of weeks, since last call, I was mainly working on this problem. We have this weird error about invalid witness error when transaction is received by our server. And it's like cryptography validation fail. And it's really, really weird because it shouldn't happen. Because client should assure that, software client should assure to create a validly signed transaction. So we were digging for this error, and everything after debugging, everything points towards the Rust code base because it always fails on the same place. It only happens with version 1 Daedalus style addresses. So it always happens when user tries to transfer funds from Daedalus. So researching the code base didn't give us much, but only we could figure out the most probable places where something can fail in this case. But in order to debug the specifics, like to know the exact place where something goes wrong, we need a failing wallet. So we need to have a reproducing wallet that gives this result. And we couldn't reproduce one, just tried every possible combination of a setting of a Daedalus wallet and everything works fine. It might be a problem with older wallets or something like this when accounts created in old versions of Daedalus or something like this, although researching transactions didn't really show this. But in order to solve this thing, we are now implementing a new feature. There is a pull request. We will perform the validation of transaction cryptography and addresses on the client side when transaction is already constructed in Rust, but before it's sent out. So we introduce an alternative crypto library, and it's not actually used for anything for any functionality. Everything still works as before, but it just performs additional validation and only produces a tiny anonymized reports, like if something goes wrong with the transaction. And we're going to send these reports along with the transaction itself to our server. And it doesn't contain any user data or anything about the wallet. It just says if we could detect something wrong with this transaction that we sent out. And we're going to check out on our backend when we get new failed transactions. We're going to see if there were any report along with it and which exact report was it. And seeing which report and if there is any at all, we're going to point out which exact place in the Rust code is failing. So we're going to, the API is open right now. The change is not that big. It just looks a bit complicated because there is some decoding and coding and cryptography validation stuff happens. But we are using existing library from Vacuum Labs, so nothing fancy. So when we deploy this, we're gonna hope that we can receive data that will point us to what exactly happens. And when we have this info, we can go to Rust guys and point out that now we have proof that something goes wrong. So hopefully we can finally fix this thing.
Yeah,
I think it's
totally
also
makes sense to me. But just one thing I'm curious is, so are we going to release this as a new version of Yoroi between now and the treasure release, basically?
I don't think it's critical, so we can do it any way we want. If treasure is not then that long away, that far away, we can just release them together.
I think we are a week away from Treasure, so I will just wait because I think it would be nice to have a clean history of the releases and everything, and a lot of the PRs for Treasure have been already merged. So I don't know, it will be messy.
Yes, sounds good for me. Let's release it together.
Okay, so yeah, so it's like it's not related with Trezor sign transaction. So I should not see errors when I sign transaction using Trezor, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So one more point I wanted to discuss about test end-to-end test cases. So like whenever we add new functionality, so should we like basically we should add the test cases also. So are we like on the same page, like we are adding test cases or not?
Yes, should be.
Yeah, maybe sometimes it's difficult, like in case of Trezor it's little bit tricky, but yeah, we like we must add, right?
Wait, end to end for the Trezor. I don't know if like it's the right test. I think we definitely should test Trezor implementation, but actually we should test like the logic, and probably we want to test like I don't know the functions that create like the payloads and stuff like that. But end to end like doesn't make that much sense to me because we can like actually use a Trezor.
Okay.
Unless we're going to like speed up a simulator, an emulator, and do all that stuff, but I think it's like an overkill.
Yeah, and suppose for screen lock functionality we can like add end to end, right?
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
So for like the Trezor stuff, maybe we could try to add like Jester or something like that. I forgot the name. It's like Esper. But
Testing.
yeah, and we already have it in the other project for like Yoroi, so maybe we can like take a look of how we are doing it there and just almost copy paste. It's called Jest. And the idea that we could write like some good cases for like the implementation with Trezor, especially with like the part that we're like doing like the payload creation with like the inputs, outputs, transactions, etc.
Okay, thank you. That's it from my side.
All right. Anything else, or are we done for this week?
I'm okay.
All right. That's it then.
Okay, bye.
The last thing, any of you guys
Okay.
are like excited about Firefox?
Yeah.
Yeah, Firefox sounds really good.
Anyone from the people that's pretty excited about Firefox wants to code?
Yeah, I can probably look into it.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, if you just send me whatever you looked into, because I know you briefly looked into it. So just send me what you have, and I can follow up.
Okay, I
Like-
will do that.
Like making it from scratch or something like that.
I think there are some tutorials that help you like to convert like a project that's using like to extend actually a project that's using Chrome to also use Firefox, and they have like a pretty nice compatibility. So I think it should be mostly fine.
Yeah, it should be very easy. We only have a single file that is Chrome's that actually uses the Chrome API, and it's only like 50 lines of code or something. So it should not be a big deal.
Yeah, so like I heard news earlier that we can directly like without doing anything we have to install some other extension to use Yoroi extension. So that is not the case, and now we can directly install from Firefox Chrome, Firefox Store, right? That is the idea behind that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right, that should be it then. All right, thanks everybody.
Yeah,
we'll see you on the 9th, I guess.
Yeah, 9th.
So, all right.
Thank you. Bye.
Cool. Bye.
Bye bye.